Hi Aries, this is Carrie at wooingnature.life. Welcome to March and to another relationship reading. This is brought to you by Pisces since it is Pisces season, and I always let whoever is leading the charge for the month, zodiologically speaking, let them decide what we're going to talk about. So relationships it is. We're back on relationships again for March. That's okay because we all need help relating. This time though, I'm going to be reading from 2 decks of cards instead of 3. I am going to read from Colette Baron Reed's Enchanted Map, and I like this because it helps give direction. It helps us give a little focus, and this is also the deck that I use for the relationship map. So if you want to heal your relationship, if you're at a place where you feel like you might have gotten a stalemate, or if you know that your relationships need healing in some kind of way, then reach out to me and I can share with you more information about the relationship map. It is a 2-week, a 4-week, or an 8-week series of processes that you go through. It is mostly intuitive, but it's also conversational. There is also some journaling that's involved. You don't have to be in a relationship to go through the relationship map. We do have a solo track for those people who are trying to heal and to work on themselves so that they can prepare themselves for a relationship. So it's not just for people who are booed up, okay? It's for everybody. And then we also have programs for families as well. So it could be your work family, it could be your family of blood, it could be your family of kin, it could be you, yourself, and you. So for those of you who are interested in relationships, reach out to me or go to the website. That's wooingnature.life. And then if you go to services, you'll see the relationship map there. Alrighty, so I'm going right now to Colette Baron Reed. We're looking at Aries relationships. We're looking at 3 cards. We're going to do 3 cards just so that we'll know some direction for the relationship. We're trying to get direction for relationship for Aries for the month of March. 3 cards, please. Okay, does she not want to give it to me? Let's see. All righty. Well, now, maybe it just needed one more shuffle. All right, so what I have here, very interesting here. We have the sacred pool. This is to me about cleansing, purifying, releasing, letting go of things. The past is the past, moving on from the past, if there is such a thing, or just cleansing yourself and preparing yourself for a different way of relating. Because it is the sacred pool, to me that there is probably some moment where you are able to pull back and pull away from everything and everybody so that you can purge and be cleansed of anything that may have been that you may have been struggling with. Here in the middle we have cleaning house. I feel like these two go together. This is like spiritual cleansing, and this may be physical cleansing. So if you're holding on to objects, things, memoirs, keepsakes, the ring, whatever it is that is attached to the relationship that you don't want to hang on to anymore, you need to dispose of it and discard it, because all of that is energy. People say, well, I'm gonna keep this and that, and then they mad at the person and holding on to an object, and you got anger wrapped all around it, but you want to keep it because you think it's of some value. But then you got to ask yourself, well, what is valuable? Is it valuable if every time you look at it you get mad? Is that valuable to you or not? So you have to clean house and purge house and all of that other kind of stuff. And then you also need to release yourself, Aries, spiritually from the individual. And then what comes next is listening. And that means not just listening to other people, listening to your heart, listening to yourself, and listening to your spirits so that they can tell you what it is that they need for you to know. This is coming from your spirits right here. That's your spirits. They want you to listen and they want you to heed, but you're going to have to really go to a different place, because heretofore you've been just kind of doing. I'm not surprised, Aries. That's what you do. Okay? Ain't nobody mad at you, but they need you to settle down so that you can hear what needs to be heard in relationship to those people that are around you or that you are trying to deal with. Let me get my glasses, because I want to see this. Is something coming about this water. Oh, it's you. Okay. So yes, you have to, you have to emerge from the depths where you have been. I'm going to say in as far as relating, period. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that you've really given yourself a time to breathe. That's the way I'm feeling from this. You haven't really given yourself time to breathe. Okay? So, and that's why the accumulation, and that's why you feel bogged down with it or overwhelmed with it and all this other kind of stuff, and you just, okay? So that's why you've got to get rid of the objects. You need to clear your mind. Spiritual baths, I highly recommend it. You need to do that. A little salt, little water. You're going to do your own affirmations, your own intentions for going into the bath. If it's to release yourself from toxic relationships or to replenish yourself after you have been depleted in a relationship, you set your intentions and then you go into the bath and you bathe and you meditate and pray while you're in there for the release to happen in the way that it needs to, in love and in light. That's the deal. All right, so I am moving right along, and this is in the Sun and Moon Tarot. I'll be reading. Your tarot portion is going to be the Sun and Moon Tarot today, okay? Sun and Moon Tarot. And I like Sun and Moon Tarot because the cards are they're very youthful, and they're also light, and I think sometimes when you're dealing with relationship things can be so heavy. You want to lighten it up a little bit and, give it some levity. And I like the way they do that. So thank you, Vanessa Decourt, for your images. We really appreciate that. So we got the Chariot here. So I see some movement. That's coming because of that sacred pool and because you're cleaning house. Clean house. Clear everything out. That's going to make things move. But I am getting a Judgment in reverse, which tells me that the timing, you got to wait on the timing. The timing is not quite here yet. So things are moving in a positive direction, but it's not quite time yet. So you just clear the house, clear your spirit. That's what you're doing. You're listening to spirit so spirit can guide you. I feel like for some of you that's your ancestors. For some of you who are working with your ancestor spirits, some of this is ancestors. Some of these are some very old spirits that are trying to communicate with you about this, okay? The Ten of Pentacles is here, which is a really good sign. It shows that you and whoever it is that is your significant other, whoever you're partnering with. Now, remember, this can be anything from a relationship to a marriage, to a couple, a long-term couple, short-term couple. It could be two people that are in business relationships with each other. Wherever it is that you are, get where you are. But the thing is that this thing is it has a grounding force to it. The bond that you have with this other person, there's a grounding force to it that allows it to be able to you can make things happen. You know what I'm saying? You can make things happen. You can manifest things. So, and it says this right here, wealth. So this relationship brings wealth. Now, what wealth it brings is up to the two individuals that are creating it. So the two of you are creating the wealth, but what are you creating a wealth of? Okay. And that's why this cleansing is so important, because you don't want to create a wealth of mess. You don't want to do that. Okay? That's not the idea. All right, so we got the Hierophant here in reverse as well, which tells me, again, that listening is going to be of the utmost importance because there's some information that needs to come through for you that's not coming through, probably because you're not listening, okay? So you have to be in listening mode so that you can hear, so that you can, why do I want to say this? The best way to listen is when you're still. Okay, Aries, that's the best way to listen is when you're still. Because when you're still, very still in the mind, in the body, and in the spirit, then messages can come through clearly for you. But see, when you're all jumped up and worked up and stuff like that, you don't know what you get. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? You're not really hearing well. It's like, creating static. All right, so you got Six of Swords here. That's a focus. That's putting all your focus on one thing. Let's see what that's about. Clarify the Six of Swords, please, for me. What is this about? What is the Six of Swords about in this reading? Okay, it's like, they're saying that you didn't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to put all your focus on one person. That's what this Prince of Cups in the reverse is, because it seems like to me the person isn't able to express themselves in a love relationship, or they're not ready to do so. Okay, so it's about like not putting all your eggs in one basket. That's what I keep hearing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And then you got to read the other person too. You got to read their language and whew, this is a whole nother story right here, Aries. That's a whole nother story. I feel like I can just talk on and on about that, but we're talking about communication. And so being able to understand how somebody communicates is a very difficult thing sometimes to do, because first of all, you got to know how they're communicating. Whether it's wrong or right, don't get into what you said and what you didn't say, and I said and she said. Don't even get into all of that. Don't even go there. What you have to do is, first of all, understand how they're talking to you and how they're communicating to you and what they're communicating to you when they do this, and this. It's a body language thing. It could be a sound. It could be a something they say. It could be a trigger. It could be any of all of that. And then after you figure that part out, now you're going to have to start the conversation about how the communication is happening and how you're receiving it, and then how you're going to then manage it. So when people say communication is very important in a relationship, they mean it, because it has so many layers to it. And if you are not centered and still and listening, then you are going to fly off the handle, and you don't need to. You are going to assume the worst when you don't need to. Or you're going to be blithely unaware when you don't need to be blithely unaware. So that's the part. It's about centering yourself. It's really about centering yourself, Aries. First and foremost, with yourself. Centering you. Because then when you center you, then you can see. And we don't want you missing anything. Because right here, this is where I'm seeing you juggling a lot of things. Trying to keep all the balls in the air, or something to that effect. If that's what you want to do, but I don't think that's really what you want to do. You can juggle and play with fire if you want to. I don't know if that's if you're interested in it, go ahead, but I don't think that's really how you want to get down. I don't think so. All right, so here we have strength, which is what we all need, is a little strength. It may take being a lone wolf for a little while. It may take you being in your feelings too sometimes if you need to. It's okay to do that. You might want to, howl at the moon. You might want to free yourself a little bit if you need to. But it's really about getting in touch with yourself so that you can heal and become stronger, because, of course, the card is strength. So it's about strengthening yourself. From whatever the past is. It's about, listening being a way to make you stronger as an individual, as a person who is relating to anyone. And that's what I mean. It's you. Ultimately, it's about you. And then how you present yourself to other people, or to another person, whether it's, again, romantic relationship, work relationship, you're my boss and I'm your employee relationship. It's really about you knowing you and strengthening yourself. And this is the time to do that. This is the time to get that work done. I'm very happy to see this Ten of Pentacles in the spread, because I feel like that's coming for you, Aries. I feel like that's what you're striving for, like that's the goal here. And then I'm also happy to see this Chariot here, and I do feel like it's because you have already done some of this work, this cleansing work. You're still working on this cleansing work, but I think that once you get that done and you center and listen, then the rest of this is going to make a lot better sense to you. Anything else for Aries for the month of March? Anything else for Aries month of March? All right, so Eight of Swords is getting untangled, getting your head untangled, free your state of mind. Don't get bogged down or tied down to anything, especially not the thoughts that will bind and hinder you, okay? This is about freeing up. This is about letting all of the other things that may have been either triggering you, or the things that would get you going, push your buttons. That's the one I want. Things that were pushing your buttons before, that they're not pushing your buttons anymore, because you've cleared that way, because you've gotten centered, because you're listening now to your spirits. And when you listen to your spirits and you're obedient, you'll be surprised at how very quickly things can get resolved here, because that's really where it has to get resolved. See, that's Eight of Swords. Swords is in the mind. So you have to clear the mind. Clear out the mind. Anything else for my Aries people as far as relationships are concerned for March? Anything else for Aries March? All right, there it is again. Strength again. So I am good with that. It is putting the past behind you. This is strengthening. It's about finding your center and going forth in strength. That's what it is. This is what the time is about. Here it is. There it is. Putting things behind you. You know what I'm saying? Speaking up for yourself. Expression, self-expression, very important right now. Being able to articulate what it is that's bothering you, what's not bothering you, okay? What has been, okay? And then letting it go so that you can move on. That's what it is. Simple as that. All right, Aries. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you would like to take the deeper dive, you know where to find me. I'm at Kerri, Kerri, at wooingnature.life. At the same time, if you are dealing with relationships, we do offer the relationship map. The relationship map uses Colette Baron Reid's The Enchanted Map cards to intuitively guide you on your journey to a better relationship. And that is not just for people who are couples. If you are flying solo right now, you can go through the relationship map as well to prepare yourself for the next incarnation of love that you're getting ready to draw and bring into your life. There we go. All right. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you have enjoyed this reading. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful March and a fabulous life.